Hockey has been a sport that Pittsburgh loves for a long time and has loved for a long time, but they've loved it so much that at times they've come together to even help bring it back locally. And a guy who knows all about that is Robert Morris, head men's ice hockey coach Derek Schooley, who is joining us today. Coach, first and foremost, you've been there for about over 2 decades now. And you also picked up your 300th win in December. So we just want to give you a big congratulations.
Yeah.
An icon here in Pittsburgh hockey, if you will.
I appreciate that. Thank you. But like you said, couldn't do it without the community, couldn't do it without our alums, our players. I'm just fortunate to be a part of the Robert Morris community as well as Pittsburgh hockey. It's awesome.
We'll get into that for sure throughout the show to talk more about everything that's happened with the history of this program as puck drop underway here in PPG Paints Arena as the Pittsburgh Penguins look to make it 7 in a row tonight. But Coach, tell us about your team over there at Robert Morris on a little bit of a win streak as well. Did we catch you at a good time?
Yeah, this is the best time you could have got us. It must be something in the water in Pittsburgh. Everybody's hot. We beat Army, we beat Holy Cross twice. We split this past weekend with Bentley, so we've taken a good number of points, 4 of our last 5. So it's definitely something in the water in Pittsburgh and hockey right now.
Any good prospects in your team this year? Who's looking like to maybe be a good player, maybe in the NHL, or any good prospects where you're leading your team right now?
Yeah, we've got a good group of guys. We've had them since our restart a couple years ago. We're really starting to become an older team, and if you look, that's a big save
what
there.
A save!
Big save.
Yeah, especially in the first minute of the game, you can't give that one up, can you?
No.
No.
We learned a lot about that last year with the Penguins. There were a lot of quick goals like that were hard to come back from.
Yeah, no, that's the most important position. Although a lot of people always say it's a score or whatever, but you can't make a save. You don't have a. They always say, what's the saying? If you have a choice between a good goalie and a good coach, you take the goalie.
Yeah, that's so true.
What about you, Coach? You got a good goalie then? See, look.
Yeah, we do actually. And
that's
where I was going with it. We've had some really good goaltending lately. We've got Charlie Schenkel, who was at the Penguins camp last year, both the development camp and the main camp. And Lucas Massey's been very good for us. And we have a third, Troy Korkendorfer, who's also been outstanding. So we've got a good goalie room, as they say in football, not a quarterback room. And it's led by our guy that went to the Penguins training camp. And Massey was player of the week in the league 2 weeks ago. So we've got a good group of guys.
What is it like when you're watching a team like the Pittsburgh Penguins right now and you have this type of presence of a team and leaders and staples and icons like a Sidney Crosby and Gino and Letang that your guys have a privilege to be so close to and have something to emulate? I mean, do you talk about that? Is that something you feel lucky to have so close to your university?
Absolutely, and to get from the RMU Island Sports Center up to Cranberry there, the practice rink, Lemieux Center is about 15 minutes, and our guys go up there all the time and watch practice, especially when we're practicing in the afternoon. I know that they find it to be really being able to watch the players perform at the highest level. It makes my job easier because they see how hard guys like Sidney Crosby work and guys how hard they work in practice, and I can hold them a little bit more accountable if they're not bringing it every day.
Yeah, you've been running this program, Derek, for about 20 years here in Pittsburgh. You know, how much hockey has evolved in Pittsburgh? You know, yes, there was Sidney Crosby, there was Mario before that, but I feel the Pens Elite and everything, the program itself, like how popular the sports has gotten, like, can you feel it around the city?
Oh, absolutely, and you bring that up to you brought the Lemieux era up. You have those kids who are a lot older. You got the Crosby era now, and you watch guys that have success and big-time hockey players, too, coming out of Pittsburgh, like younger guys like Trocheck and Miller and
Cooley.
and Logan Cooley. I mean, you go down the list of Pittsburgh, and they're just getting better. And we always like to keep the best players at home, and we've always got a good group of guys from Pittsburgh. But you can see it every day, and that's it. Wow, there's some big-time chances in the first few minutes of this game.
Was that Manta or Brazo? That was Manta. Yeah. Wow.
We talked about him in the open.
Now.
He's been, fabulous for this team. He's looking for his 20th goal.
Yeah,
we said,
20th
so
goal.
Far?
It'd be his 4th 20th goal season.
Impressive.
But this year has been. He scored 25 one time in Washington. So he's playing well. He's so big. Him at the start of the season with Malkin and Brazeau, like that line was so clutch and difficult to play against. But look at this move. He looks very confident with, and especially he's playing with Kindle, right? That's such a young centerman that's having such a great season. So what a save. Like we mentioned, Omar never lost against the Penguins too. So they're definitely feeling it there.
Underrated signing, when you say it, that people really didn't know much about in this town, and he's really showing himself to be pretty good.
Yeah, well, Dubas done a great job too. We mentioned it at the start of the show, like how, you know, it's kind of, you look at teams like New York Rangers that are talking to the media about rebuilding their team, you know, while the Penguins this year, maybe at the start of the year it was that, but now it's like, okay, who can we go get to win some games, you know? So it's definitely a change in Pittsburgh this year.
And a culture change as well, and culture can be so important. Max had talked, Coach, about going to morning skate, and he said the guys just seemed so loose, and it was really fun just to get to watch them. You could tell they were feeling it. What's the type of culture you try to implement at Robert Morris when you want guys to go there? What are you telling them? What's your program about?
Well, you want to, obviously, you want guys to be excited to come to the rink every day. I think that's the most important thing. And we've got the ability. We were in a great area. Pittsburgh's a beautiful city. And you want people that want to be a part of your program because they're always going to do a little bit more for you and for your team. And I think you have a great locker room. I think guys being excited to come to the rink is awesome. I think the biggest problem you have is when you're on this big winning streak to not let them get complacent. And that's the hardest thing, is when you have a little bit of a streak, to make sure they just continue, because you love winning hockey games and you got to keep it going.
Yeah, well, I always said, I mean, I had a chance to coach 1 year in San Diego with the goals in the American Hockey League. So I went to coach with Joel Bouchard down there for a season. And to me, it was always, and even good coach like Dan Boswell, we won. I feel like good coach will be able to push more the team when they actually win. That's the time to go and to get them, yes, keep the fun going, but that's when you kind of keep them accountable and you got to push them a little bit. Because when you lose and you start pushing your team, guys will get like off a little bit, right? It's not the right time to be hard. So when you win and the vibe is good, that's when you go, let's go, guys. Pedal to the metal and be more accountable. And I don't know if it's something to, as a head coach, Derek, like, do you take care also of the recruitment and everything for Robert Morris?
Yeah, I have 2 assistants that are basically in charge. Their jobs are to coach and to recruit and do video. I've got all the other stuff besides coaching and being a part of recruiting, but I always liken it to kind of a baseball field. They got to go 7 innings between the 2 of them, and I've got to come in and be the closer.
You got to close it out.
Yeah, so I think at the time, yeah, there's a lot of different hats you wear, and working about your culture, working your team, making sure you're ready for practice, but also putting together the right team. We don't have a massive scouting staff like they do in the NHL, but yeah, the assistant coaches do a lot of the work, and they're in charge of coaching and getting you good hockey players.
What do you look for when you scout a player? And I know it's probably tough because the guys have so many options, right? But first of all, you have to sell your program. But once you're locked in on the player, what have you scouted that really gets the things going? Like, what is the first quality that you're going to look for when you're recruiting a player?
I think there's 3 things that we kind of look for right off the bat. You want to look for, obviously, skating ability, because college hockey's pro hockey's a marathon, college hockey's a sprint. We play 34 games plus. I mean, your playoffs could be 1 game, so it's a sprint. Pro hockey, you got 80 games plus a long playoff, so you've got to be. College hockey's a little bit more up and down and hectic compared to pro hockey, and so I think you got to be able to skate. Your compete level's got to be high. You got to compete.
The Penguins charity game on SportsNet Pittsburgh is returning for the 15th straight season. On Thursday, February 26th, tune in to purchase this legendary retro-inspired Penguins charity canvas duffel bag, which draws inspiration from the bold new 2025-26 third jersey. The Penguins gold is reminiscent of Mario Lemieux and the Penguins of the 1980s. The Penguins word mark is displayed on the carrying strap, and the zipper pulls are color coordinated by bag level. 3 bag tiers will be available once again, featuring various items honoring iconic players, management, and moments in Pittsburgh Penguins history. Proceeds help the missions of both the Penguins Foundation and Mario Lemieux Foundation. To see a complete list of the items available in each Penguins charity bag, log on to pittsburghpenguinsfoundation.org/charity game preview or scan the QR code on our screen.
The dynamic of college hockey has changed. Specifically, there's NIL in college sports now, and recruiting is so different, and the entire college landscape has changed. And specifically, new to the NCAA this season was the ability for players from the Canadian Hockey League, right, the CHL, to transfer to NCAA without losing eligibility. I know Max has a hot take on this from his side. I think your opinions might differ. Here's a look at some of the notable Canadian junior transfers for any Penn State fans up there. You see Gavin McKenna, but the list goes on. They saw some of those guys play also at Penn State this past weekend in Beaver Stadium in that outdoor game, Michigan State and Penn State. But Coach, from your perspective, how did this benefit Robert Morris? And were you a fan of this?
Yeah, I think the great thing about this is it opens the player pool up to a larger group of people. Before, you had to make a decision, and usually you had to make a decision at the age of 15 before you had to really knew what your options were, and you didn't know if you were going to develop into that top player. So you're making this decision when you're really sometimes not even through puberty. So I think that's an important thing. So now you've got the best of both worlds. And I think that it gives more people advantage. It makes our game better. I really believe that it has been a long time coming. And now you see there's pro hockey players that haven't received very much money that play in the East Coast League that are playing college hockey. This has really changed. The NIL and all this has really changed. But to have Gavin McKenna in college hockey and Porter Matone and that list, Roger McQueen, the list goes on of players that have just been really good coming from the CHL into NCAA. Gives you time to get bigger, stronger, and faster.
Yeah, and that's
a good point.
That's the biggest difference. Also, you were talking about the difference between NHL and college hockey. There's a marathon compared to sprint. Same thing with the CHL too. I'm a product of the CHL. I play in the QMJHL. It was great for me because I was a young guy with a beard and I would fight at 16, 17 years old. But on the contrary, I have players that your development is later, so you have a chance to go in an NCAA, get an education, make a little bit of money also, and work out to develop yourself. In the CHL, you can't develop yourself because you play 70 games a year.
Inside Penguins Hockey is back.
Let's go eat sushi.
For an all-new season.
And now he's your best friend.
Yeah. Getting a line in the water is always a joy for me.
Inside Penguins Hockey. New episodes every month on SportsNet Pittsburgh. Presented by UPMC Health Plan.
The community of Pittsburgh really bonded together at that time and came together. A lot of really important icons here, sports figures, everybody bonded together to make sure Robert Morris hockey was still going to be a thing at one point when the program was cut. Coach, I'm just curious at that time if you can think back, what were your emotions like from, I'm sure, going through the frustrations and the anger of that happening, but then the really high highs of seeing how the community came together to make sure that your program continued on?
Yeah, it was up and down summer, that's for sure. You found out in May, and I can't say enough good things about the people that rallied to help save the program. It started with Ryan Malone, and I think Ryan was an outstanding ambassador for us. So we had a celebrity game, as you see video of it right now, and you go through the whole thing. Phil Bork was involved, Colby Armstrong, Sean Sweezum. Well, we talked about him,
Brett
the on the
Kiesel.
bench
Brett
guys.
Kiesel, friend of the
Brett
show
Kiesel,
here.
yeah. the Pirate Parrot. You can see them all playing in the game to help save the program. Colby Armstrong lit the Pirate Parrot up in our second All-Star game. He ran him straight at center ice. The first year he got mad at the Parrot because he kept screening our goalie, his goalie. So the next year he was on opposite teams and he ran him. So just really fun stuff that helped save the program. And you see Tyler Kennedy there. You go through the whole list of guys that were involved in this. And it was just a fun way to help save the program. But it was stressful. And thankful that the community allowed this to happen. And Robert Morris dove right back into Division I hockey and realized that this is great for the area, great for the community, and great to have college hockey in this city.
It's been so cool to see that transformation. It was awesome to have Brett Kiesel on the show, and he spoke so highly about that event, but also was so passionate about why it was important to help and getting your program back. And since then, Coach, have you seen just maybe another level of love and appreciation for the game, both by staff members, by players at that time, and yourself in particular, just how important it was, and realize, it could all go away in the blink of an eye?
Absolutely. We had an attitude of gratitude in that first year, and we wanted to be appreciative of everything and be appreciative to come to the rink, and we still are every day. And I think that to have our college hockey in Pittsburgh is such a exciting thing, and such a
that was certainly special.
Different.
Yeah,
it's different.
Mm-hmm.
Coach, what got you to? I know you have a career. You went around different leagues when you played hockey. Like, what got you into coaching? Did you know, like, when you were playing, that you always wanted to be a coach?
Yeah, I did a lot of stuff with a company called Huron Hockey School. And I used to travel the country and teaching while I was playing college, and I would do that all summer. And I really enjoyed getting to know some of the college coaches that I worked with and talking to them about their job and their profession. And when it was time when I bounced around the East Coast League like a rubber ball, it was time to find my next goal in life, and got into coaching. I was fortunate to go to Cornell for a year. I was fortunate to be at the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs for 5, and then I can't say enough how thankful I am to be the head coach of this program after being the assistant there. So I really wanted to do that, and I thought that was the next step of staying involved in the game.
Wow. There's a couple big games coming up next weekend, and I think that your both daughters are playing college hockey D1, right?
Yeah, I got my daughter Caitlin's a junior at Robert Morris. Very fortunate. Our first home games back, Caitlin got a chance, played, and she scored in the first Robert Morris game. If that wasn't fate,
no way.
I don't know what was. Yeah, the first home game when the programs came back, and my youngest daughter Taylor's now a freshman at the University of Delaware, which is a new program, and they play each other this weekend, Friday, Saturday at the Island Sports Center at 3 o'clock, and we play in the evening at 7 against Canisius. So it's really exciting to watch them play against each other. They played against each other earlier in the year. Robert Morris won both. My daughter, my oldest, Caitlin, was Player of the Week in the league, Defenseman of the Week in the league. Wow. That week. So I didn't get a chance to see it. We were at Notre Dame that weekend. So I'm excited to see them play against each other. I will not be wearing anything one way or the other. I'm rooting for them both to have a great game.
I was going to ask if you had like the split jersey shirt. We need to get you one of those for him. I didn't know if you had one of those in the wardrobe.
Yeah, I don't think that. Obviously, I love Robert Morris. I love my paycheck. I know where my paycheck comes from. I want Robert Morris to have success, but I also want my daughters to have success and really enjoy what they're doing at Delaware to start a new program as well after being through it here. So I think that it'll be a fun weekend for our family, but we'll see. We'll see who comes out on top.
Wow, we talked about Penn's Elite for men hockey and how Pittsburgh hockey evaluated through the years. Same thing with the girls also. Like, it's been all Pittsburgh development and everything, and they went and used the Penguins Elite program to get where they are now.
Yeah, that's where my daughters grew up. My oldest went to Gilmore Academy after playing for Penn's Elite, then came back and played for Penn's Elite. My youngest Taylor played for Penn's Elite, also played in Philadelphia for the Junior Flyers. But you can't say enough good things about the program that the Penguins have put towards girls hockey. Kathy Pippi has done great. Sean Sweezum, we talked about him with helping save the hockey program. He's been involved. And then you have people like former Colonials, like Leah Marino, who's the coach, and Brittany Howard. Those are players that are now giving back and coaching girls. So I think you can't put words to how hockey is growing in Pittsburgh at the highest levels, and you see it. But it also starts with the Penguins and the grassroots levels. It starts with the youth hockey programs, the A leagues and the AA leagues, and the learn to play. So there are all those, and funnels all the way to the top with Penn's Elite. And we're very lucky. I don't think people realize the amount of that they put into hockey here in Pittsburgh, and the Penguins do that.
Like, this is such an interesting subject because in Quebec right now, we have a lot of talks about player development. There's less and less players coming out from Quebec in the NHL. The Canadian hockey, the World Juniors, we haven't been doing as well as we should. Obviously, hockey's became international. For you to develop a young hockey player, where does it start? Is it the quality of coaching, the number of ice time, multi-sport, doing different sports? Like, how would you develop a young hockey player, man or woman, nowadays?
I think what you just said is all the way. All those things are very important. I think we're a product of also overtraining, specializing in hockey way too young. I think they need to play other sports. They need to play baseball in the summer. They need to be out playing soccer. Those things develop athleticism. So I think those are important. I think sometimes we just want to specialize way too early. And I think more sports, the better. It creates a better athlete. And then as you get older, then start figuring out what you want to do. But there's a lot of these, like the Sidney Crosby program for young kids. My son is playing in the North American Hockey League in Junior A in St. Cloud, Minnesota. And he started with the Sidney Crosby Learn to Play. He got the free equipment when he was 3. Those things are all big things to help develop in. But you hit it right on the head with multi-sport, learn to play, coaching, more touches on the puck, not making sure that you just play games. You got to get out and you have to practice.
Yeah. For me, it was Mike Polino that told me that. He coached me in an international program with Team Canada, and he said the rink should be a destination, right? So the season can be so grinding sometimes, whether at any level, you know. So you start by saying, you know, we need to come to the rink and have fun, and I think it starts there also, right? Because that's where you learn the most, and when you get excited to show up to the rink, that's when you develop yourself, I feel.
Yeah, I think that obviously you have to get a mix of fun, but a mix of work too. Yeah. And you have to bring it all together, and I think those are the most important things. Like today, we have a deal with our guys. If our games are worth 3 points. And our deal is if you get 4 of 6, we get Monday off because we play all of our games on Friday, Saturday. Ooh. And we've taken the last 2 Mondays off. Today we had to come to the rink and practice because we won in a shootout, so we got 2 of 6. But so they came to work today, but we also had some fun. We did some skill stuff that was fun stuff. We did some small games. We did some competitive stuff that involved some conditioning after if you won or lost. So it forces you to compete and work on scoring goals, work on battling with a little work involved, but it's fun work because you're battling your friends. You're battling guys that you're going to have in your wedding in 10 years. You're battling all these people that you grow up with, and you're competing, and there's a winner or a loser in everything.
That's the best way to learn, of course. Like, you know, I will always remember Sidney Crosby and Marc-Andre Fleury competing until the end of the whistle, and it was slowing down every drills because Sid wouldn't stop until he would score or the puck would be frozen. But it's all about competition, and let me tell you, I would have been a great player for you because I love days off. because it was green light the night before, right? I would have been in Southside.
Coach, you would have been making sure you
No,
didn't have days
college,
off for Max. Everybody but
Yeah,
Max.
we're college here. We're not taking days off to go to the South Side. That's for sure.
Oh, that's too bad, because that's where you bond, right? That's where you
It's
learn.
the North Shore now, anyway. It's the North
This
Shore.
is true.
not the
It's
South
different.
Side.
That's true. Southside has become too dangerous. Yeah. But this is great.
man.
The Penguins have been playing it's a good first period, right? The Ottawa team is a skilled team, right? With Chuck and Stützle, and Claude Giroux's having a great season also as a veteran. So do you believe in a chance, like I was talking about the Penguins this year and how the East is so open? You told us that you follow the team a little bit. Like, do you believe that the Penguins could make a run? Right now, their percentage of making a playoff, I think, is over 80% at this time of the year, right before the Olympic break. Do you believe in the Penguins that they could have a chance to make a push this year?
Oh, absolutely. And I think Dan Mears has done a great job. And we talked about Kyle Dubas and some of his signings. They've got just a different attitude and youthful enthusiasm. I think that comes from the head coach. And I've known Dan since he was in college hockey. I saw him at Eddie Johnstone's 90th birthday party a couple weeks ago, and he was at Yale. He won a national championship here in Pittsburgh when he was at Yale at PPG Paints Arena. So why not bring a Stanley Cup here too and raise a couple different trophies in this building? But I think they just got a different energy about them this year, and that's always exciting. Like you said, coming to the rink, they forecheck hard, and they've got some superstars that are still having good years.